raced closer to the Ibanez home on Rochester near Banyan. The family made their stand and then decided to make the call.
Cars sitting in several feet of water, roads washed out. Torrential rain leaves much of the tri-state area damaged by widespread flood.
From Chopper 2, you can see much of Manville underwater. Residents floated through the murky floodwaters in canoes just to get a better look at all the damage. Hundreds of cars submerged under feet of water. Areas like Seacliff cleaning up after a landslide wiped out a backyard, sending everything from fencing to the barbecue down to the Long Island Sound.
I've been here 30 years and there's never been any problem along the cliff with anything coming down.
Afghan villagers searched through the rubble a day after a devastating landslide in the northern province of Badakhshan. But there's little hope now of finding anyone alive. Local authorities say more than 2,000 people have been trapped under rock and mud.
Boards for that plant and the hose reel.
Maddie would like to comment.
Oh, you were going to set the prayer?
What?
On my phone? What are you looking at?
There was like a fireball that came down and burnt up.
At least 4 people are now known to have died after severe floods hit northern and central Italy. Several people are still missing following heavy rains which caused local rivers to burst their banks.
In searing 98-degree heat, Black Hawk helicopters drop water on stubborn hotspots near the town of Guthrie, north of Oklahoma City. 30 buildings, including at least 6 homes, have been lost here, even though many homeowners battled the flames with whatever they could. It's shaping up to be a brutal wildfire season. California has already seen twice the number of fires it does in an average year, and nationwide, wildfires have consumed more than twice as many acres this year compared to last.
Japan's meteorological agency says the quake occurred at 5:18 a.m. local time and was centered around 160 kilometers under the seabed near Izu Ocean.
We did it. Whether you like it or not, Wichita shattered the old record from 51 years ago and crashed into the century mark.
It is pretty hot.
This is the earliest we've ever officially seen 100 degrees in Wichita since the records have been kept.
It's pretty odd. It was like 30 degrees last week, you know, now it's about to hit 100.
Storm in Missouri. That's a mix of a wildfire and a tornado. A woman Instagrammed this image of a fire-nado. These fire tornadoes can form when intense heat combines with powerful wind.
A strong earthquake shook southwest Mexico on Thursday, causing buildings to sway in the capital.
Whipping winds and powerful storms pummeled Dallas Thursday afternoon, up to 4 inches of rain flooding parts of the city. Gusts of up to 70 miles an hour toppled trees and brought down power lines, causing this transformer to explode. As many as 39,000 people were left without power.
Ravaging floods have hit Kasese district after 3 rivers burst banks, leaving many stranded. One of the worst hit areas is Kilembe Mines.
unsettling sight in a New Jersey waterway. You're looking right here at thousands of dead fish, some floating, others washed up on the shore.
They were on top of the water, they were under the water. It was terrible. Never saw anything like it.
This is Auric tonight. Trailers were tossed, trees and telephone poles down. Many of the 800 who live here are without a home.
Large debris. We have a large tornado on the ground causing damage.
Big time tornado, guys. Oh, that's huge. Large violent tornado.
A slew of powerful tornadoes touched down in Nebraska on Sunday, causing widespread damage across the state.
Uh-oh.
Winds gusting more than 100 miles an hour proved to be too much for these power lines, snapping them in half.
Colorado, where they're digging out after 24 hours of snow pounded the region. Nearly 3 feet of snow in some places. Whew. All throughout Denver, they dealt with about a foot of the white stuff, and that's no fun. A major trucking route was shut down because of the storms. The wet, heavy spring snow caused power lines and trees to just snap.
Some extreme spring weather from coast to coast tonight, but mostly it's a line of weather cutting the country in half from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. The threat is now severe flooding with more rain falling in parts of the state of Texas in the last day than they had seen all this year. And record heat is fueling fires once again in California.
This is the brute power of floodwaters in Ohio, washing away a road outside Cleveland as 3 feet of water poured into this high school. While strong winds near Saratoga Springs vaulted a bouncy house 50 feet into the air with 3 small children inside. 2 were seriously hurt when one landed on a parked car, another on the street.
This is what near record temperatures and high winds do here. Fire spreading at 100 acres an hour through the canyons around San Diego. As flames crept towards multi-million-dollar properties, people living in 20,000 homes were ordered to pack up and head to safety. This is a part of America parched by the worst drought for decades. The last wildfire season never really ended. The new one has only just begun.
Welcome to the United States of extreme weather. I look at the weather maps, not sure whether to laugh or weep. Flooding rains central and eastern Texas, while folks in Amarillo have to be scratching their heads. Last night they were under a freeze advisory. Brush fires raging out of control over the Texas Panhandle. There's still snow on the ground across much of Wyoming and Colorado. Look at these lows Wednesday morning.
An apocalyptic scene. 3 days on, and swathes of Southern California are still being gorged on by wildfires. With military equipment deployed, the fight back has come to resemble a war effort. But bone-dry conditions created by 3 years of drought and relentless winds from the Pacific mean that they are often left limping behind. Over 120,000 evacuation notices have been issued.
It was a bizarre night in the newsroom while we were on the set. We were getting dozens of calls about a loud boom, so we checked with the National Weather Service, and they eventually confirmed that a meteor was racing through our atmosphere.
This big boom, the house shook and everything shook.
The government in Bosnia says over 1 million people, or a quarter of the population, has been affected by flooding and landslides, comparing the destruction to that of the country's war in the 1990s. Some reports speak of around 50 deaths here and in neighbouring Serbia and Croatia amid the worst rainfall to hit the Balkans in living memory.
The Serbian government has declared 3 days of mourning for the victims of the disastrous flooding. Worst hit is the town of Obrenovac near Belgrade, where flooding from the Sava River has been aggravated by overflow from the Danube. 14 people died here as the waters rose. 15,000, the majority of the town's population, had to leave their homes.
Has opened up on a college football field in Tennessee. Construction crews working on the stadium at Austin Peay State University when the hole opened up yesterday.
Wildfire in Soldotna is not under control or contained at all. You can actually see it over my shoulder. Crews are working in the air behind me. Overnight, the fire grew from a couple hundred acres to more than 9,000.
Northern Arizona's Slide Rock State Park remains closed this morning as crews battle a nearby wildfire. It's already burned 21 square miles since Tuesday, and the fire is only 25% contained.
As we told you last night, a woman's home in Duanesburg was destroyed and many other buildings are damaged.
In the aftermath of the storm, people in Duanesburg are finding new ways to describe their community, often referring to the changed landscape of fallen twisted timber as a war zone, or calling the images of destruction mind-blowing, or labeling the property destruction as a minefield of misery.
I told my mom to get in the bathroom. I got the dogs in there and everything just broke loose. The house was shaking, everything, and it was scary.
It's like forming right there. And he's like, oh my gosh, my boat. And we look over down the street, there's like a tail, or like a truck cap flying down the street, and he looks over and his boat is like picked up and it flips over.
I sat there and watched, my dad's tree just be demolished. He's buried under there with his dog, and that's like the prized possession of the property, and it's gone now. So we have to cut it down.
wet day in Roswell. The city got more rain in the last 24 hours than it has in almost 70 years.
A shocking scene as passengers on a Greyhound bus captured the burning wreckage from an 8-vehicle collision on I-10 near Lordsburg yesterday. The crash, caused by a dust storm, left a horrific scene of twisted, blackened metal and 7 badly burned bodies.
Unbelievably big. That's how emergency crews describe a massive mudslide on the western slopes of Colorado. 4 miles long, 2 miles wide, and about 250 feet deep.
A major downpour like this is said to occur once every 200 years. Friday's downpour caused secondary disasters everywhere with water levels reaching hazardous levels. Crops were submerged and villagers had to climb to the roofs of their houses to escape the rising water.
Dude, where do we go? We've got nowhere to go. I know I am. It's just sitting there.
Tom Abrams, residents there say they've never seen or smelled anything like it.
So what's the stinking problem? Fish, hundreds of thousands of them, dead in the shoreline of Galveston Bay.
Ale to nagrałem.
A large sinkhole has opened up beneath a $1 million mansion on the New South Wales Central Coast. Neighbours discovered the ground had collapsed beneath the left corner of the Swansea house last night, swallowing the basement and the patio.
13 caskets out there floating right now.
Caskets from the cemetery on Belrose Lane floating away from their resting places. Men try to weight them down with sandbags. Even this church looks to be underwater.
Sad. It's sad. People out here in boats and stuff. They don't need no car now. You need a boat to get out of here.
This is the aftermath of today's storm, but flooding wasn't just happening here.
The rain pounded St. James Parish for quite some time today, too, causing widespread flooding there. The water even got into some homes and businesses.
There was so much rain it quickly overwhelmed the drainage system. Parish residents, sheriff's deputies, even the parish president all said the same thing. They've never seen anything like this.
Also breaking out of Winter Haven, Action Air 1 just captured these images of a possible sinkhole that opened up in the parking lot of a Publix grocery store. You can see there the pavement is cracked and it's breaking. We're told that that hole right now is about 30 feet wide and it's also 5 feet deep.
The weather in Beijing feels like a heat furnace. Temperatures scored this month as the hottest May in the history.
A massive plume of volcanic ash is causing major disruptions for travellers at Darwin Airport this morning, with cancellations across domestic and international flights.
Pretty unbelievable for this time of year. Plus we're in short sleeves and shorts.
Overnight, skies alive from the Canadian border to the Gulf of Mexico. Almost 400 severe weather reports this week that have brought us some stunning images. Hail covering roads as far as the eye can see in North Dakota.
Look at that, dude.
That striking EF2 swirling through that RV park, injuring 9. And in South Dakota, a storm chaser surviving a bolt of lightning that sent dirt and debris flying on him.